Hanna and the Time Fairy. Hanna loved Christmas, the sparkling lights, the warm cocoa, and the stories her grandma told by the fireplace. But what she loved even more was New Year's Eve. It felt magical, like starting a new adventure. Her grandma often said, "A new year is like opening a blank book. You get to fill it with all the best moments, adventures, dreams, and joy." This year, Grandma shared a special story. "There's a time fairy," she said with a twinkle in her eye. "She protects the most precious gift we have, time. But she only visits those who truly believe." Hanna's eyes widened. "Do you think she'll visit me, Grandma?" "Anything's possible if you believe," Grandma said, squeezing Hanna's hand. That night, as snowflakes danced outside her window, Hanna sat on her bed and gazed at the stars. They sparkled so brightly it felt like they were listening. She clasped her hands and whispered, "I wish I could meet the Time Fairy." The room stayed quiet at first, but just as the clock struck 11, a golden glow filled the room. Hanna turned, her heart racing. There, floating in the air, was a tiny figure with shimmering wings and a clock-shaped necklace that sparkled like sunlight on snow. "Hanna," the fairy said, her voice as soft as a song, "your wish brought me here. I am the Time Fairy, keeper of time's magic." Hanna's jaw dropped. "You're real. Grandma was right." The fairy smiled. "Time is real, but its magic needs care. Tonight, I need your help. Will you come with me?" "Me?" Hanna asked. "Why me?" "Because you believe," the fairy said, "and belief is the strongest magic of all." Hanna nodded, her excitement bubbling over. The fairy waved her wand, and in the blink of an eye, they were whisked away. Hanna gasped as she looked around. They were in a sparkling land filled with giant clocks, swirling stars, and hourglasses that glowed like lanterns. Gentle ticking sounds filled the air like the heartbeat of time. "This is the time realm," the fairy said. "It holds all the moments of the world, past, present, and future. But something is wrong." The fairy pointed to the largest clock in the realm. Its hands were frozen, and cracks spread across its golden face.
"What happened?"
Hanna asked. "The New Year's clock is broken," the fairy explained. "Without it, the new year cannot begin. People's hopes and dreams will be stuck in the old year." Hanna's chest tightened.
"How can we fix it?"
The fairy handed her a tiny jar labeled "Moments of Joy." Inside, glittering dust sparkled like tiny stars. "This is made of the happiest moments, when people show kindness, love, and gratitude. Sprinkle it over the clock and let's see if it helps." Hanna flew with the fairy to the clock's face. Carefully, she sprinkled the dust over the cracks. At first, nothing happened. Then, the clock's hands twitched, and a faint glow spread across its face. But the cracks didn't fully heal. "It's not enough," the fairy said. "The clock needs more than joy. It needs hope and courage." Hanna thought about her grandma's words. She closed her eyes and whispered the things she hoped for in the new year. More laughter with her family, helping her little brother when he felt sad, and trying her best at school. As she spoke, the dust began to glow brighter and brighter. Suddenly, the clock began to chime. Ding! 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 The hands spun faster and faster until they reached midnight. The cracks vanished, and the clock shone like new. Fireworks exploded across the time realm, painting the sky with dazzling colors. "You did it!" the fairy cheered. "The new year can begin, thanks to you."
"But it wasn't just me. It was kindness, courage, and hope."
The fairy placed a tiny star in Hanna's hand. "Keep this as a reminder. Time's magic comes from the moments you create. Use it wisely." With a wave of her wand, the fairy sent Hanna back to her room. She heard the sound of fireworks and cheering outside. The clock on her wall showed midnight. As Hanna snuggled under her blanket, she held the tiny star close to her heart, its soft glow lighting up her room. The sound of fireworks echoed in the distance, and a warm feeling filled her chest. But something was different. She realized that the magic of the night wasn't just about meeting the time fairy or fixing the New Year's clock. It was about the promise of time, the chance to create something beautiful in every moment. Hanna thought about her grandma's words. A new year is like a blank book. She whispered to the tiny star, "I'm going to fill mine with all the best moments, kindness, laughter, and love." The star twinkled in response, as if it understood. Hanna leaned over to her bedside table and grabbed her notebook. She opened to the first page, wrote, "My New Year's adventures" at the top, and smiled. Tomorrow, she would start her story, one moment of joy at a time. And somewhere far away, in the sparkling land of the time realm, the time fairy smiled. Time's magic was safe, thanks to Hanna and her belief in the power of hope and courage. The clock on Hanna's wall ticked softly, marking the start of a brand new year, filled with endless possibilities.